Hi, my name's Hillary Catling, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California. I've been practicing for over 30 years. My primary target audience are individuals and families who have gone through some form of trauma, but also kidnappings, whether they're national or international. So I'm also the director of the Marriage and Family Therapy program at Azusa Pacific University. So I've been doing that for about 17 years as well. And I found art is an amazing key to unlocking trauma, to unlocking things that really bother people. Sometimes, especially with children, they can't express with words what has happened to them. But we also have that as adults. Sometimes it's too difficult to figure out what we really mean. So I'm very thankful that you're taking this video. I wish we were in person. However, we're going to do a couple of art activities during this video and kind of go from there. Also, I've had the privilege of doing mural work, so I think it's important for individuals, for families, but also for communities, and especially now when our world's kind of in turmoil, doing community art projects can be amazing. So one of the amazing opportunities I've had is to work with the Children's Court in Los Angeles with my husband, who's an artist, and being able to do murals for kids as they come into court. Normally it was just cement, and we made pillars into palm trees, and we made the viewing room that they went to go see their parents. We made that a submarine, so they were like talking to their parents, but instead of just looking through a cement walls and glass, they were looking through portholes in a submarine. So, and you just see the difference in those visits when kids are not kind of in this institutional settings, how much they can be more of who they are during those visits. So, in general, I decided that kind of like working in individual and working at the university and doing these murals, it wasn't enough, that this work needs to be bigger. And so I started taking it to conferences and talking and training therapists, but also regular people on how art can help heal. This is not art therapy. That's a very different thing. And in the state of California and the United States, it's heavily regulated. So this is not art therapy. This is just the power of using art to help unlock healing for ourselves and for others. So as I got feedback, it kind of encouraged me naturally to keep doing this and to look for new ways and different art projects to use to kind of help in this. So I developed a course and I'm teaching it this summer. I have 90 students in it, which is just a little overwhelming, but we're doing art projects together and they're submitting them, and then they're writing about how they felt before they did this artwork, how they felt during, and then how they felt afterwards. And the feedback has been overwhelming. Students just having a place to, kind of a safe place to get out what's going on. And there is so much going on just normally, but now especially, so it's been very helpful. So some of the benefits of using art as a healing tool, I just want to read these because there's a lot of them. It provides an outlet for feelings. It reduces stress and tension. It can build self-esteem. It gives a sense of control. So a lot of times we don't feel like we're in control, but if you're doing and using your own artwork and doing your own activities, you have absolute control, which really kind of gives you a safe place to do that. It aids in the mental health of individuals and communities, and you get a sense of, like I just said, that safety, but also relaxation, power, and identity. So the more you do it, the better you feel. And studies have shown that people who do some form of artwork every day actually are a lot happier, which to me makes a lot of sense. I am not an artist. I draw stick people, but I'm not letting that get in the way of me being able to express. So in studies, they've shown people just doodling in an art journal. And one of the things we do in my class is they keep an expressive art journal, and I just encourage them, doodle, draw, do collage. My own art journal is all collage, and then I just kind of journal around the collages. So it's just a great way to kind of find peace. So the first activity I want to introduce you to is the calming art swirl. And if we were in person, I would be giving you crayons or colored pencils. I really like crayons, and I'll do a sidebar on that in a second. But this is a way, it's kind of a stress reliever, and I would have you pick out either 4 of your favorite colors or 4 of the colors that you find in your eyes. So either one of those, of course, if we're doing 4 of our favorite colors or shades of the same color, that can be very helpful for this activity. But also our eyes, we have all different kinds of colors in our eyes. So you could get 4 crayons or again, color pencils to do that. Why crayons? Crayons, you lose a little control. We tend to stay away from paint, and that's a whole nother sidebar that we don't have time to go into today, except to say it gets too loose and can unlock too many feelings. But crayons sometimes remind us of being kids, and colored pencils might remind us of, oh, when we were adolescents, we wanted to then move to colored pencils because they were like a pencil and we had more control. But this isn't for control, this is for relaxation. So I would give you a piece of paper, 4 crayons, so these are my 4 crayons, and I would just start doing this calming swirl. So the calming swirl could be a circle or an oval. So while I'm talking, I'm actually going to be doing this activity. You're going to take one color and just start, and usually my swirls end up being like egg-shaped. And I would just keep doing this, and it's almost like you get into this zone where the repetitive pattern just kind of helps soothe your brain, and your brain just starts slowing down. And then you'll know when you're kind of ready, you get the next color, and then you start. And you can go inside that initial swirl, or you can go outside, or both. So you just start building on this swirl. So if you have any of this stuff with you right now, some colors, you could do it right now. I just put gray on there, so I have a lot of different colors. People think my eyes are blue. It's like, nope. And they change. My eyes change from gray to green to blue, and then mostly it's just this grayish color that has a lot of different things in it, a lot of different shades of gray and green and blue. And so as you do this, you're just kind of building. It could be small. So some of my students do, their circles are just like tiny. They're just so contained. I'm a little bit looser. Also, I'm a lot older than my students. So I tend to do a little bit bigger. So you end up with something like this, or it could take up your entire page. Now I'm doing this. When I'm doing it on my own, it's quiet. There might be some light music playing, or there may be just nothing, no sound at all. And it really helps slow me down. So my brain fires very quickly, and I talk really quickly. And so especially when I talk in public, I try to slow myself down. So the calming art swirl is this amazing way where it's an art activity that just kind of centers you and helps you to be at peace. A lot of times when you look up artwork, you're going to see the word meditation or prayer, and it's almost like that. There's this sense of calming, of peace, of being one with nature. And it doesn't matter if you're part of a organized religion or have no religion, uh, and it's denominational or non-denominational, but this sense of meditation and prayer can be done while you're doing the circle. It just centers us. It kind of takes the world away and just helps us hone in on what's happening here and now. Um, so if we were in person, I would pause and we would all be doing this together. And then I would have various people share. What were you feeling before you started this? What were you feeling when you were doing it? And how do you feel now compared to before? So I really want to encourage you to do this on your own and kind of answer those questions. And if you're somebody who journals, do that, kind of journal this activity, and then do it. Use this as a tool to kind of help center you and help you kind of be at peace. So when people have done this, even though I might be repeating myself a little bit, they found that they're more focused, that suddenly there's a more focusedness to their life. It reduces anxious thoughts, so people who may suffer from anxiety, or maybe not clinical anxiety, but maybe just anxious feelings, they found, wow, this really lowers those anxious feelings. And for people who have depressive thoughts, they found that this is raising them to not having as many depressive thoughts. And then it's relaxing of your body. Your entire body kind of gets this break from, the tenseness or the world or your family or whatever you're going through, your job. It just gives you this moment of pause to reflect and to relax. Then I want to talk to you about art as expression and the personal or life symbol. So this is another activity that I use at conferences because it's something we can do sometimes literally on the spot, but sometimes it may take you some time. So I don't want you to feel pressured if while we kind of, as I talk about this, that you're going, no, nothing comes to mind. That's okay. A life or personal symbol is worth the time to be able to identify it. So we know symbols transcend language. We just kind of know that. Studies have shown it. You can show a symbol to somebody, and in different languages, there is this knowing. Cave dwellers, our earliest ancestors, drew symbols on walls. Jung did a whole his whole theory really was on symbols and different things that transcend us as individuals and go into a community or a world view. So one thing I've learned that symbols can grow as we grow. And so I'm going to kind of talk to you about that in a minute. So in order to kind of identify your life symbol, you might want to take a moment to close your eyes and kind of think about, if I'm thinking about me and my life, what picture comes into my mind's eye? What symbol might there be? So you might want to pause this and kind of think of that for yourself, or you may want to just kind of take a moment to think about that. So it could take a few seconds. So some, when I have my clients or my students do this, some literally immediately open their eyes and they're like, I got it. It's done. Like, it's so clear. I didn't even know it until I closed my eyes and gave it this thought, but now I do. So, and then others are like, nope, and so I say, that's okay. Take some time. Use this as homework. Spend time in prayer, meditation, closing your eyes. What symbol comes to mind? So for some of my clients and for some of my students, they have these amazing symbols like water in a stream or a bubble that's floating in the air or a cloud, a fountain of everlasting eternal water, a garden, the ocean. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. But I would like to share with you, for those of you who maybe don't get that kind of cool symbol, how kind of maybe through my example, you could say, oh, okay, it doesn't have to be exactly pretty or great, and that's okay too. So when I did this years ago, I got the image of a anchor, a ship's anchor. It's metal, it's brand new. The chain's not very long, thick, but it goes up. I don't see the ship. I just know that the chain comes down in the water, and then the anchor itself is on the bottom of the ocean floor. And I went, oh, that's me, yeah. Now, back then I wasn't teaching this, so I didn't know that people had these cool images. I just knew I love metal. I love things that are rusty. Now, this was not rusty, but it was an anchor. And as I went through life, I realized after every maybe negative life event, just normal things that happen, people die, people, you move, things that are good and things that aren't so good, that whole anchor could be just drug along the ocean floor. It just, wow, as life events hit, it just would go. Also, I know in the ocean that a chain, if there's a current, the chain sometimes will just float around. And again, the chain wasn't that big. And so it would float, and kind of life events would, maybe the anchor would stay where it was, but the chain would sway. And then as the years went on, I realized my anchor was rusting. And I thought, oh, I don't know if that's so good. And then I had to trust, you know what? Maybe this is good, because I was getting older. I wasn't rusting. Well, technically, maybe I was. And then barnacles started to form on the chain and on the anchor. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. Like, the older we get, the more we pick up. Things get onto things rust, they break down. But the interesting thing over the years, as I continually come back and in my mind's eye think of the anchor, the chain now is this big. It's full of barnacles and rust, and it stays. And the anchor is huge now. It's full of rust and barnacles. Now, I personally, as you could tell, I'm doing this seminar, I teach. I want to keep giving back to others. So I want to grow and learn. And as things happen, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm this perfect person. It just means a lot of life has happened in my life, and that's okay. And each one of those barnacles and each part of that rust, I've earned. It reflects growth and pain and triumph and joy and sorrow. It just encompasses everything of what my life is made out of. And that while there's still some flexibility, the overall is, I know who I am. I know the work I'm supposed to be doing here, and I'm doing it. And that journey of this little anchor that gradually got bigger and bigger and stronger through life events has been such a comfort to me, because when I do hit those things, or life or our communities erupt or whatever's going on, I know internally I'm okay. There might be some more growing. There might be a few more barnacles that need to be added. There may need some stuff that may need to rust or maybe even kind of fall off. And that's okay, because I've gone through this so many times. So I want you to think about this symbol, this life symbol, that it can change and grow as you go through life. I once worked with a woman who, when we first started and she did this, she had a little wooden ship. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then as we did therapy, she paused, she stopped therapy, she came back years later. She was like, Hillary, the little wooden ship is now mostly metal. And it is like, it's so strong, and it's got some, you know, battlements on it, and it has life. But it went from this wooden ship that was kind of flimsy to now this really strong ship that can take her and sail her through, she said, like 50-foot waves. And as she shared what some of the things that she had gone through, I was like, whoa, those are 50-foot waves. So it's so exciting to see how this metaphor can transcend time, can change, can grow, and it gives you this personal sense of power. So we kind of tap into something that is, literally transcends even who we are. So, my quest for you is to think of this. Maybe when you find, you close your eyes and you instantly think of something, I want you to draw it. If you're an artist, use that, journal it, and then as the years go by, redraw it as, what does it look like today? What changes are happening? And to kind of go, that makes sense. Like for me, barnacles and rust, that makes sense. It wouldn't before, but it does now. And so uh, also I think of, for those of you like me who aren't artists, maybe you look up and find a digital picture and collage it, or you post it, or you pin it somewhere so that you start looking at, hey, what are the different things? Some people it's a compass. Well, if you look up a compass, there's so many images, but you're going to know, hey, this is the compass that's in my mind's eye, and this is the one that's going to take me through life. And as I look for the North Star, or whatever you're going for that maybe you don't even know now, and I'm going to say trust it. You don't have to know where you're going, but having this symbol can be that place, that sacred space for you to just find peace and calmness. So we draw then from our inner resources, from strength, balance, even peace that can flow and slow us down in our busy lives. So sometimes we just need these symbols to help us know it's okay. I can take a breath. I don't have to keep, go going. I can just take a little time for me, whether that's looking at the symbol or redrawing it. Hopefully, you have seen in this brief time that we've had together, through just these two activities, that how much using art as a healing tool can help you. It can also help our families. A lot of times students and my clients will take these homework assignments and they'll do them in their families or with people they love, or they go out and whatever at their workplace or in their community, they have a platform that maybe they can use these to help heal and bring people together. Because when we start talking about these things that transcend our lives, we're talking about things that can bring healing. It's like suddenly somebody who you disagreed with, hey, they also need to calm down, or they need to be healed, or they need a symbol, a life symbol to help them. So art is an important part of that. And so I am so thankful that you are watching this workshop. I hope you use these two tools and others that will be very healing for you, maybe your families, and possibly your communities. Thank you so much for watching this video and for spending time with me. Take care. Bye-bye.